I'm Scott Mockington, the Area Fisheries Supervisor with the Hutchinson Fisheries Office with the Department of Natural Resources. One of the really unique features in the 7 counties that the Hutchinson area manages is 7 Mile Creek in Nicollet County. It's one of the few tributaries to the Minnesota River that is a designated trout stream. Today was a big day because tomorrow is Saturday's trout fishing opener. Now, in certain counties in Minnesota, you can fish throughout the year, but really only after that mid-April opening day is when you're allowed to actually harvest fish. So if you catch them, you can keep them. We refer to 7 Mile Creek as a put and take fishery. We come out here because we have this wonderful cold water aquatic resource. We can put the fish in as adults, the sizes that anglers like to catch and harvest them, and they're available. Folks get to come out, buy your trout stamp, and go fishing out here. So we put 300 adult brown trout in here. They're about a pound a piece, but there's a lot of variation in sizes, so there are some big fish available as well. The big draw at 7 Mile Creek is brown trout, and while we know that a lot of them get harvested early in the trout season, we do know that they persist. We do annual surveys on this resource. We do see some fish that survive through, become larger, show up quite a bit bigger than their other cohorts. And so there are always a few fish that carry over, and we also know that these fish can survive through the summer, just because we will come through in September to do our electrofishing survey, and we'll see some fish then. Outside of the brown trout, really other opportunities are going to be somewhat limited. We have a lot of non-game fish species here. We've got some dace, some stone rollers, some darters, we've got some shiners. We see a mix, but I believe at last count we had something like 15 or so different fish species, so there's a little bit diversity here, not as much as in the Minnesota River, but the difference is the Minnesota River is a large order stream, a warm water system. This is just a small cold water stream that's really well situated to those brown trout. We stock 7 Mile Creek every single year to provide a fishing opportunity, but the biggest thing folks need to know why it's in this sort of put and take fishery that I talked about earlier is really our challenge here is base flow. In other words, when we think about how a stream functions, we want water coming out of the ground to feed this stream and kind of keep a perpetual stage, a certain height of river that we're always going to see that's going to ensure those fish to always have constant movement, new food coming in, enough water for them to survive. What we see at 7 Mile and other streams that are similar are variations in this base flow. If we get a huge rain event, it's going to flush through here very quickly. And then at other times of the year, where maybe in midsummer when we don't see as much, or into the fall when it tends to be drier times of year, we see it get critically low. And then when it's too shallow, then the temperatures do creep up. They get very warm and they can enter those really stressful or even lethal ranges for our trout. So probably base flow is our biggest challenge that we deal with here, and like a lot of streams in southern Minnesota, that is a challenge. Inside 7 Mile Creek, here in the county park and in the designated stretches, in other words, the portion of 7 Mile Creek that's in trout stream designation, the habitat's actually pretty good, and that's largely thanks to some folks that have stepped forward to do work. The Minnesota Department of Natural Resources did some habitat work here in the early 2000s, late 90s, and then most recently Trout Unlimited through the Lessard-Sams Outdoor Heritage Council. How we treat our watershed is ultimately how we treat our streams themselves. If we want to have healthy, vibrant waters, we need to take good care of the landscape that's around them. And you know, I definitely credit a lot of folks in this watershed for working with groups like Great River Greening, with our soil and water conservation district at the county level, with producers, with nonprofits, with government agencies, with local government, whatever it might be. It's no secret that there's been a lot of work by nonprofits, government, and academics in this watershed, but it's an important place for that reason. We know it's kind of a gem, and we want to take good care of it, and I know the producers want to do the same. They have a vested interest in taking good care of the land, making sure they're able to pass it on to their next of kin, and the same is true of our water and of our stream here.